Hey guys, what's going on? Steve, I'm back again, and I'm back with another What If Walking Dead video by George Drake. I always enjoy these type of videos because it's always fun to think in a different timeline, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if this character lived? What if that character died? You know, it's always fun to speculate what would have happened. So the topic for this video is, what if T-Dog survived? If T-Dog lived in The Walking Dead Season 11, Rick Grimes Returns. Good old T-Dog. I like T-Dog. He was a pretty cool character. It's just a shame he didn't really do much of anything. I mean, his most defining moment was sacrificing himself to save Carol. That was pretty much it. You know, other than that, he was just kind of there, you know. A group of characters are talking, he's just there, you know. He just wasn't doing anything, which was kind of disappointing. But yeah, this should be pretty interesting to see what would have happened if he lived. So a quick announcement, going forward, or actually two quick announcements, I guess. Going forward, I'm going to start posting all of my reaction videos to the episodes on my Patreon page. I probably won't be posting them over here on YouTube anymore, just because the copyright stuff is getting pretty goddamn ridiculous. You know, I had all of my videos of the ones who lived all posted, all online, no issues, and then it wasn't until, I don't know, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after the final episode aired, like half my videos all got claimed and taken down, despite them being up for, like, you know, many weeks already, you know. And then trying to, you know, dispute it and stuff like that is just a pain in the ass. You know, I don't know if it's an extra person, is it like a robot or something like that, I don't know. I've been trying to re-upload, you know, episode 6 over and over again, and, you know, I'll get through the processing part. They'll say, okay, blue check mark, you know, this video's good to go. And then like a week later, oh, sorry, it got claimed. You know, I'm tired of just having my video up for like a week and then all of a sudden it gets claimed and stuff like that. Because I've done it a couple of times where I've uploaded the video, but I haven't published it. And I just left it there to see, all right, what's going to happen? Like right now, it says it's fine. But, you know, several days later, all of a sudden now it gets claimed. You know, it's just, it's too much of a hassle and stuff like that. So I'm going to post them over on Patreon and stuff like that, so that way I don't get bothered or anything like that. There's no YouTube, so I can just upload them a whole separate way and not have to deal with any of that. So yeah, if you want to see those going forward and stuff like that, they'll be on my Patreon page, which there should be a link down below. And my other thing is I'm working on doing a filming update video. I'm trying to get all the pictures and stuff like that for, you know, Dead City and stuff. Daryl, I missed out because they finished filming Daryl Season 2. They're going to be starting to film Season 3 of Daryl next month in Spain, I believe. But I'm getting all the pictures for Dead City and stuff like that. The information, that's what I'm trying to get more of, because there's really not much of anything. You know, it's like, oh, Negan's walking down a street and kills a couple walkers. You know, or Negan goes over to a car, you know. There's not that much, you know, information, despite all the cool pictures and stuff like that, because I got quite a few pictures, but I just got like no details or information to really go with them. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. You know, if there really isn't anything, I'll still make a filming update video, at least with the pictures, and we can kind of figure out what's happening. I don't know. All right, so anyways, yeah, let's get on to the video and see what would have happened if T-Dog survived. Here we go.
What I will ask you though is, can you give me one more day?
I've always disliked T-Dog's fate.
Yeah, that is kind of...
How he died, the lack of reactions from the other characters when he did, and all the
Yeah,
stuff
that's
that
true, they're just
T-Dog
kinda
missed out on that I think he would have been great in. Theodore T-Dog Douglas was one of the main characters of the main group, of the main show, but ever since his death he's only been mentioned once. T-Dog
Really?
and Dale, for me, are the biggest, earliest
Once?
tragedies of The Walking Dead, and with how out of nowhere it was, it felt like a last minute, borderline onset choice to switch him out for Carol, and that's believed to be what actually happened. And I'm glad we got Carol, but you can't help but be intrigued and frankly quite sad to think about what T-Dog would have went on to do. So in this video, we're going to answer the question of what if T-Dog didn't die, and stick around to the end because that might have not been the last time we see T-Dog. There may be a happier ending for him yet. Let's get straight into it. Of course, before we do, make sure you press the like button and make sure you subscribe if you're new.
A prequel?
So let me refresh your memory on how T-Dog even died. When Rick and the group got to the prison, they encountered 5 prisoners that had been there since way before the apocalypse started. 2 of these guys, Oscar and Axel, turned out to be the nicest and best guys you've seen in The Walking Dead, I would say to this day. The others, Big Tiny and Thomas, fell before, mainly because Big Tiny was weaker. Thomas was a fuck. But one of the biggest mistakes Rick ever made was leaving the 5th prisoner, Andrew, alive. He didn't kill him as he did Thomas. He ran after him just after and locked him outside, but he survived. He opened all the gates, set off the alarms, and lured walkers into the prison. Andrew's scheme had begun. Laurie, Maggie, and Carl would be separated, where they would be stuck in a room together, and Laurie started to have Judith. Laurie died. Carol and T-Dog were separated together too, and he saved lives that day when he closed one of the main gates that would have given way to another herd of walkers, and he's bitten in the process.
He wasn't just a good guy. He's the best.
Got bit closing the gate. If you hadn't done that.
Could have been Maggie.
He would then go with Carol throughout the tunnels of the prison, and they would be trapped. He's already bitten, so to save Carol, he charges at the walkers. They start eating him, while Carol makes her escape. So, we need to save T-Dog from this moment. Now, what's always allowed you to rationalise T-Dog's death is that he died saving Carol. In fact, the way this has always been known is that actors were actually swapped out very last minute when the one that died was actually meant to be Carol. Now again, I'm glad we got Carol, but the only way T-Dog survived this scene is if Carol did die, or at least isn't saved by T-Dog. Andrew's scheme begins. Carol and T-Dog are separated together, and Carol closes the gate. This is when Carol started to do stuff and really come out of her shell more.
Sorry.
She makes this decision. She closes the gate
and
is bitten, exactly where her comic counterpart was. The context of comic Carol is a bit different, obviously. She's just got the same name. She was mad and got herself bitten voluntarily, but this would be more of a comic callback. Deaths in the comic and the show were always remixed from start to end. T-Dog was bitten on the shoulder, but especially with how strictly the show would follow the comics in the earlier seasons, it would be really cool if she was bit where Carol in the comics was. Carol's bitten, and T-Dog can't believe he let this happen. T-Dog had always said how bad and guilty he felt when he dropped the keys to Merle's handcuffs and leaving him on that roof, about feeling like an outcast. He's failed again. They walk through this hallway, Carol leading the way, T-Dog just ridden with guilt that he let this woman get bit. They see they're about to be cornered. T-Dog's not going to leave Carol, he's tempted to just pick her up and run, but it's too late. A crying Carol charges at the walkers, screaming for T-Dog to just go.
Never let that happen.
That would have been an interesting twist. Seeing Carol hold
she's
him
beyond
instead.
saving, so he just has to run. So he goes on guilty that he's just let this happen, and even more so that he just left her. Just like what happened in the show, Daryl would be scared to even find out what happened to her, and when he opens that door, he'd just see a guilt-ridden T-Dog. And I think there'd be quite a bit of hostility, a bit of conflict from Daryl. As unfair as the situation was, as much as T-Dog probably couldn't have done anything, T-Dog would be beating himself up over it, and Daryl even more so. Similar Similar to when Sophia, Carol's daughter, died, he saw it as almost his failure, and he would be even more upset seeing T-Dog beat himself up. One of my favourite scenes is when he's shouting at Carol, but she sees through this coping mechanism that he's got, where he pushes people away.
I'm not gonna let you pull away. You've earned your place.
Spend half your time minding your daughter's business instead of sticking your nose in everybody else's, she'd still be alive. You ain't my problem. Sophia wasn't mine.
That was an intense moment.
So I think similar to what we saw with Bob in season 4 with his drink, when Bob first told Daryl that the reason Zach died was because of the way he put the drink down, you know, it was him looking for drink that led to his death, Daryl didn't rip into him about it. It was only when he saw that Bob only put a bottle in his bag rather than the meds they were there for. So I think really similar to that, this would be the start to T-Dog's arc, where he feels he needs to step up, putting right where he thinks he's failed. Next time something happens, he's going to take the opportunity and save someone. If T-Dog did stay on, he would have likely taken a good portion of Carol's story, especially in season 3 and 4. And we've now got a T-Dog wanting to redeem himself. He's been living with what he sees as failures. Next time he will do what he thinks he has to do. And what did Carol do? She killed Karen and David.
And
when that
T-Dog
sickness hit the prison, she killed and burned them because she thought she was saving people. And she was, you can rationalise it, but it was obviously still a callous thing to do. There was this scene in season 2 with T-Dog and Dale where T-Dog had just cut his arm, he's got an infection, so he's dehydrated and he's not himself, and he's talking about how much of an outcast he feels to the group, and how the rest of the group just see him and Dale as expendable, and he actually suggests they both just leave in the RV.
Let's just go. Let's just take the RV. I mean it, man. Why we on the side of this road like live bait? Let's go. You and me. Let's go before they get back.
Also, when he was pretty set in his ways and scared to go back to the farm.
I gotta find Carl. They may have escaped with somebody.
I hate to say it, but they're on their own. There's no way to even begin to start looking.
You're wrong.
We can't go back.
There's been a few times where he's been okay with just leaving them. In the later seasons, this was Carol. In fact, in season 4, even when she didn't exactly want to, when Rick exiled her for killing Karen and David, it was her leaving then too. So I think in an alternate universe, this would be T-Dog. Whether it was going to be T-Dog or Carol, I think it was always in the books that there would be this inside killing in the prison. And on whatever they decided out of these two characters, it would be them either way. I don't think he would be as callous to burn Karen and David.
You ready? Yeah. Man, how many times we gonna have to do this?
But you've got to imagine that after 3 seasons of T-Dog, he sees that people are getting sick. He'd be getting premonitions of something similar that happened to Carol happening to someone else. Just having to watch someone die again helplessly would take matters into his own hands. And if that sounds unlikely of T-Dog, like you wouldn't really expect it from him, well, you wouldn't have thought it was Carol either. It'd feel like even more of an outcast. It's quite sad to think about because he wouldn't have Dal to confide in again, to talk to relate with. Even more so when he's exiled. So, just like what happened with Carol, Rick exiles T-Dog. T-Dog has to spend time alone.
That wasn't your decision to make. When Tyrese
goes off on his own like he wanted to back in season 2.
I'm not weak, and I'm not a coward. That wasn't me. I'm making this decision for me.
I feel like it was even foreshadowed long ago that T-Dog would take stuff into his own hands. When they encountered that bloated walker in the well, he said straight away they should just shoot it. They said they shouldn't do that because it would contaminate the water, so they came up with this elaborate plan to send Glenn down there, put a rope around it and pull it out. It worked, but then split in half at the top and contaminated it in an even worse way. And at the end, T-Dog does its head in.
So what do we do about it?
And said,
Good thing we didn't do anything stupid like shoot it.
and remember, at this point, T-Dog was likely meant to go on. It was Carol that was supposedly going to die the way that T-Dog eventually did. So this could have actually been premonitions of T-Dog taking stuff into his own hands. We of course have to address the governor, Woodbury, Michonne, and the return of Merle Dixon. This would all still happen. He captured Glenn and Maggie.
T-Dog. The one I was pleading with.
That would have been interesting too.
Tell me where it's at. I'm sure T-Dog liked to bury the hatchet. Let bygones be bygones.
That would have been cool.
So when he got back to the prison, there would have been even more hostility. He
Yeah.
wanted revenge. To me, this is somewhat
T-Dog and
proof
Merle.
that T-Dog should have probably went on. This would have been another reason they wouldn't have wanted him there.
Dixon's alive.
I actually think this wouldn't have lasted long. I mean, he beat up Glenn, tried to kill Michonne, but at the end of the day was one with them. I think they would have argued, but very quickly would
Yeah,
have just
probably
become
would have.
allies.
You know, if we're gonna live under the same roof, we should clear the air. I've done a lot of things I ain't proud of, before and after. Hope we can get past it. Let bygones be bygones.
He said some nasty stuff to T-Dog, and he obviously wasn't a nice person. But as Michael Mando said about his character in Better Call Saul, Nacho, you can always judge a character by their last moments. And the fact that he saved Michonne, he set her free, and essentially sacrificed himself. I think this goes to show that although he wasn't a nice person, in the end, he wasn't a bad one either.
Right.
Carol was secretly teaching the kids how to defend themselves. T-Dog would likely be doing this too, because again, he doesn't want anyone else to die, or anyone to be defenseless again.
Flash and where to aim for. Please, don't tell your father.
T-Dog the teacher.
So Rick exiles T-Dog, so he has to ditch Lizzie who he's been training. He's by himself now, but after Governor's attack on the prison, he would be reunited with them later, with Tyrese. After Lizzie inevitably kills Mika, he would be the one to put Lizzie down, again killing so that no one else dies. And I think as Tyrese forgave Carol, he would forgive T-Dog. And when the group are eventually
crazy.
captured by the termites
Yep,
at
here we go.
Terminus, he would save them. A full circle moment. T-Dog was able to save everyone of the
Everyone.
main cast. Daryl and
That
T-Dog
would've been cool.
didn't get along last time they saw each other. Now,
But now
Daryl
that
would
he
see
saved
that
them.
he saved all of them.
Beth wanted to go with him. She wanted to get him there.
And what if it isn't around anymore?
I say head east.
Then, of course, they end up at Alexandria, and they were all pretty convinced they were going to have to take it over, kill them, just at the pure incompetence of the place. When they found out what Pete was doing to Jesse, Carol was almost like Palpatine to Rick, suggesting there was no other way but to kill him. But I think even though T-Dog was on the road too, and he knows he has to kill to save people, and he is a lot tougher than he was, I don't think we can just put T-Dog in Carol's shoes, like we have a couple of times before in this
Right.
video. I don't see him walking around making cookies pretending to be nice and unassuming when he's not. I think he wouldn't want to ruin a good thing.
So do we ring the bell? I mean, it looks like people live here.
We're past this kind of stuff, aren't we?
We just ring the bell.
Welcome to Alexandria.
Having been exiled, T-Dog's been on the road longer than anyone else has. We'd see him now surrounded by all these people that had his same mindset in Season 2. I don't think he'd want to kill anyone or take over. I think he'd want to help and change the way they did things. Obviously just a lot less aggressively than Rick did. I think he'd be right there next to Abraham on that construction site, showing them how they're meant to do it.
That would have been cool.
Leave people behind to die?
We have a system. Would you tell him, Francine, we have
Seeing him and
I
Abraham
want you to
together?
look out. Pull the cobwebs
That'd be
out of
kinda
here.
cool.
Move.
We got a wall to build.
A T-Dog and Abraham duo. I think it would be really interesting to see T-Dog with characters like Spencer. T-Dog's had to kind of work himself out of feeling incompetent and like he's dropped the ball. Then he sees what Spencer does, because Spencer was kind of the face, the epitome of what an incompetent, somewhat naive Alexandrian was. He'd be right there with Rick.
What was that?
I was trying to help. I wanted to get to a car, draw them away.
You ever make a climb like that before?
T-Dog looking down like,
Then of course Negan and the Saviors arrive.
oh. Would he have even been there?
All right, we got a full boat. Let's
Oh.
meet the man.
Guess he would have. Maybe he would have been the one hurt.
I'm Negan.
You don't really think that you were gonna get through this without being punished now, did you?
He was there in Atlanta to see this happen. He would be completely broken by it. T-Dog had built up the Alexandrians so much about not being like he was in season 3. They've got to be brave and step up. But then Negan and the Saviors punished them all. Seeing Glenn and Abraham die like that, he'd fall back. He'd have this colossal loss of hope. But as T-Dog always did, he'd still help. He'd join Spencer and Rosita on their search for supplies to give to the Saviors. Well, he'd try.
Dun 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 dun.
Go get me Daryl's bike.
It ain't here.
Well, if it ain't here, then you know where it is, right?
Imagine T-Dog meeting the Scavengers. It's the little things.
I lay with him after. You care?
If you two can't decide, I'll take it.
When Rick ignites the war with Negan, I think at the start, Tia would be a lot like Tara. After losing Denise, Tara wanted to kill the Saviors, and in scenes like this at least, she was right to want to do that, because in trying to spare them this
what if
is
Jesus
what happened.
lived? That's another cool
I
video
don't think
to do.
Tito would be with Ezekiel or anything. I think he would be one of those characters that wanted to kill.
There's only one person who has to die, and I will kill him myself. I will.
I think, just like in the first 3 seasons, he'd be with Rick and Daryl. So when they go to that Savior outpost, T-Dog would be there. It would be really interesting if T-Dog was with Rick when he was confronted by Morales. Even though Rick is winning the fight against Gracie's dad, T-Dog returns to Rick and kills him, and they both see what they've become. How interesting is that a character like T-Dog, who hasn't always wanted to kill, hasn't always at least felt like he stepped up. But now he's thinking, I just did step up, and I've just taken away a little girl's dad. And he'd rethink what they're all doing fighting this war.
Even had a little baby at one of the outposts. I wonder what happened to her.
After Rick beats Negan, and we return to season 9 1 year later in the story, all of the characters feel refreshed. Rick has rebuilt the communities.
Base camp, this is Tito. Anybody here?
I need you to get an urgent message to Alexandria.
Until 5 episodes in, Rick would get injured and blow up the bridge.
I found him.
6 years go by, while Daryl has been looking for him. T-Dog is back home, and one of the heads in the council, T-Dog, as Carol did, would be going out trying to get Daryl to come back. T-Dog being a bit more skeptical that even Rick's body would still be here, but making it clear that he wishes he was.
Oh, I got it.
The Whisperers.
Hell no.
After T-Dog does get Daryl to come back home, it all seems nice. There's even a nice little trade fair at the Kingdom. What could possibly go wrong from that?
A lot.
Traumatized and angry from the Pikes, T-Dog wants to push forward and kill the Whisperers, among the other Alexandrians that want to silence them, but all of his suggestions to do so get turned down by the council.
Putting ourselves out there when we don't have to is dangerous.
So T-Dog sails away. Everyone else wants to fall back, so he does just that, because if he did stay, he knows he would want retribution.
There's no peace on the ocean. You were thinking about me.
Not ashamed of it.
But of course, when he comes back to visit, it's just when a Whisperer mask has been found on the shore of Oceanside.
This way, friend. We're ready for you.
But again, with all of T-Dog's suggestions being overturned,
This would
and it
have
being
been
foreshadowed
really
that no one would
interesting.
listen to him in the future when he has these wise ideas, he plays the system a bit. The council said no Alexandrian is to push forward, so T-Dog assigns Negan the task of joining the Whisperers and killing Alpha.
You had a say on the Kangaroo Council deciding my fate.
Guess the world changed.
This way he doesn't kill, but the head of the threat is taken care of.
You will rise. You will
That
walk
would
with
have
your
been
sister.
pretty cool.
And it
T-Dog
all
is the one that
happens like
sets
she
Negan
did in the
free.
show.
No one's coming to save you. Not after what you did to Carol.
When it comes to the Reapers, I just like to breeze through it because I just dislike that it even happened. I think the Maggie, Leah and the Reaper stuff would still happen, unfortunately. But all the better for having T-Dog in it.
Just thinking about choices. Do they even matter anymore?
Depends on who's making the choice.
My point.
All of it?
Yeah, the Reapers seem kind of just a filler in
That's
thing.
on us.
You know, just throw something
When
in
the
there.
Commonwealth arc starts, along with Daryl and Rosita, I think T-Dog would have become a soldier and be with them in those scenes.
She hasn't
I
given
can
me
see
much of a
that.
choice here. I'll talk to her. And why would you do that? Because I don't want to shoot anybody here today.
Question is, do you trust that man's word?
I think this is where T-Dog would be when the show ended. Carol, Ezekiel and Mercer all got promoted and filled in the roles of Pamela and Lance, Carol taking Lance's job, with Ezekiel becoming the governor and Mercer becoming the lieutenant governor. I think the end of T-Dog's story on The Walking Dead's main show is him taking Mercer's job, the general of the Commonwealth Army, teaching them what he's learnt, knowing when
I
to
can see
kill,
that.
knowing when to help.
That would be kind of cool. T-Dog being like the new Mercer replacement?
This is what I think would happen if T-Dog survived The Walking Dead. But we'll never know for sure.
Nope.
Or will we?
Hey, I am in the booth, something I've never done before. Can't tell you though, it's a secret, but I think you're gonna be thoroughly surprised. Mark my words. This is different. I've never done this before, but I'm so excited about it, guys. Just
really?
This is a first for me. I thought as an actor I had done it all, but I'm in the recording booth right now, so I can't tell you right now, but this is some good stuff. This is very good stuff. That's all I have to say. This is gonna make a bunch of dreams come true, I think.
Oh, I hope it's not for that. I hope it wasn't for that horrible Walking Dead game.
Not sure how they work on walkers, but we'll take them.
So the actor for T-Dog, Ian Singleton, appeared to be doing something that he's never done before, which at first I thought was an autobiography type thing, or maybe more music, because he makes music. But again, it's something he's never done before, and apparently making loads of dreams come true, even captioning the Instagram post with a hashtag.
Oh, hell no.
His iconic T-Dog quote. So it's definitely The Walking Dead related.
I hope
There's a few
I hope
things
it
I
wasn't
think
for
this could be,
that
and
horrible
that I
Walking
want it
Dead
to be, but I
video
think the most
game,
likely
you know, where
right
you
now
can
is he
kinda-
recorded for The Walking Dead Destinies, a third-person game that basically lets you
I hope
choose
it
what
wasn't for
happens
that.
from season 1 to 4. Right now it's set to come out in November for $49.99. I'm not going to go into it too much because I think you know what I'm going to say about it. It's the typical. We could give this game the complete benefit of the doubt if it was for mobile or maybe a bit cheaper on console systems, but it's not. I'm going to get it and see how it is. The one positive, of course, is that they might have got T-Dog back. So even if Shane is knocking about like Owen Wilson from Walmart with a wasp in his mouth, then at least we've got the voice of T-Dog. His appearance may be his cousin Devon, but it doesn't matter. He's T-Dog.
Oh god, that game is terrible.
But weirdly, since it was announced, Ian Singleton hasn't said anything about it, so there's a chance it's not this. He is in a recording booth, so this could be for AMC's own version of what Marvel did, like an animated What If. This could also be him narrating an episode about T-Dog in Tales of the Walking Dead, set before he died. Glenn did
that'd be kinda
mention,
cool.
in the one time that he did, that T-Dog did go around helping old people.
You know, when the evacuation started, T-Dog drove his church van to the home of every senior he knew, just in case they needed a ride.
Now you might think,
That'd
that's
be a
before the
cool
apocalypse
Tales of the
though, why would
Walking
that
Dead
make a
video
good
to see.
episode? It's Tales of the Walking Dead. I feel like they don't really care. Even if it is shite, it's T-Dog, so I wouldn't really care either. I could watch T-Dog play chess, frankly. I imagine it would be mixed in with what he did before and just before he died. When Scott Gimple mentioned a Glenn episode, people were like, he was just a pizza guy, what would that be good for? But it would be 30-40 minutes of a classic Walking Dead character that everyone loves.
Yeah.
Still, people still love T-Dog, contrary to what
he
most
doesn't want to come
think.
back for
It
that.
wouldn't have to have zombies in it or crazy explosions and death. A good way to tend to any character's horrible fate is to show more of them in a prequel. Sometimes it is just tragic, but it doesn't have to be sad. I think T-Dog is owed something else. It's actually really weird that 10 years on there's still nothing about T-Dog. He was this big character on the show with all the main characters, then he died all of a sudden and never got mentioned again. In this scene, Andrea went deaf after hearing that Laurie died. I think most of them did.
Laurie didn't survive.
Yeah, it kind of
Neither
seems
did
like,
T-Dog.
you know,
I'm so sorry.
a lot of the original characters never got really mentioned again.
Carl.
It's a bit like with Glenn and
Jim.
Abraham. Glenn's
Anyone
death
remember
did
Jim?
overshadow Abraham's one a bit. I love the episode, but in hindsight, that's what it did. People remembered that night as, oh, do you remember the Glenn scene? The characters do too. Same with T-Dog and Laurie. It distracted the viewers and it distracted the characters. They were too busy worrying about the other people. So whatever this turns out to be, or if anything in the future happens with T-Dog, that would be great to see. I think they would put What If episodes into Tales. I think that would give Tales a bit more attraction. You know, if there were like 2 episodes showing what would happen in the main show. Probably animated. They could literally revisit exact time periods with all the actors just doing voice work. So there's the upside to that. My ideal episode that revisits T-Dog is a conversation between Rick and Daryl, or Daryl and another character, from the season 8 finale to the season 9 premiere, so that 1-year time jump. And in that period where they're rebuilding and they're happy, they bring up T-Dog, and there's a whole episode of them reminiscing on what he did once. There's a lot of potential for that.
That small group we had back in the beginning, we could do anything. That was right. That's what I know.
From season 2 to 8, they would have these shocking deaths, there would be a lot of them, but at the end of the day we've got to go on with the show, with the absence of all those characters that died. They had their shocking scenes, the episodes were great, but by the end of the main show you look back at that fountain at the Commonwealth. I'm glad Ezekiel was there, Carol, Daryl, Eugene, but then it's a bunch of those newer characters that I just don't care for enough, that weren't there for the whole journey of the show, so it doesn't mean as much.
A man named Dale.
I do see where he's coming from on that.
A woman named Andrea, a man named Tyrese.
Yeah, that was a good speech, apart from the fact you completely forgot to mention the guy that was in your Fortnite squad. He only barely spoke to Andrea. He said it himself, if T-Dog didn't close the gate, it could have been Maggie. It was T-Dog that died for all of them and never got mentioned again.
A woman named Andrea.
What, the one whose only quirk was whinging all the time? I quite liked Andrea, but brought her into this now. Such a great character,
she had some
such
bad
a great
writing,
actor.
though.
Gone to waste. The cast of characters in the main show got better and better until it didn't, and then you just left thinking, well, what about those older characters? I don't, you fucking got people screaming at me, being the most unlikable people
Nobody
ever.
remembers Jim.
T-Dog? Some of these deaths just didn't have to happen.
You know?
But what do you think? What do you think would happen if T-Dog survived? Would you
When's
rather
the last time Jim
and do you
got
want to see
mentioned?
T-Dog in an actual episode
just
of
left
Tales?
him on the side of the
Maybe
road
show
by a
him
tree.
before the apocalypse, or any time period before he left, or maybe an AMC's version of a What If. Make sure you let me know what you think down below. Press the like button on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.
Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna take a look. Walking Dead Destinies. Let's see if it does have him as listed as a voice actor. Walking Dead Destinies is a 2023 action-adventure video game, Flux Games, published by Game Mill Entertainment, based on the first 4 seasons, yada yada yada, released December 1st, 2023. Walking Dead Destinies received generally unfavorable reviews, with a score of 29 out of 100. The game has a 0% approval rating on OpenCritic. It's considered a contender for worst game of 2023, along with Skull Island: Rise of Kong, which was also published by Game Mill Entertainment. So nothing on that. Maybe there's something listed. Trying to see what else could it be. No, season 1, because sometimes maybe the Wikipedia will have, you know, what their, yeah, we are, Irony Singleton, film, okay, so film 2020, television 2021, oh, yep. There he is, under his Wikipedia page, Video Games 2023, The Walking Dead Destinies, voice role, Theodore T-Dog Douglas. Yep, so he was the voice in the video game. Poor guy can't catch a break. Because of course he was in the shittiest video game. Damn. That's a pity. But yeah, other than that, that was a really good video. I enjoyed that. That would have been a very interesting turn of events, you know, had T-Dog lived, and I think that would have been interesting if he took some of Carol's roles and stuff like that. He still got sent away. He saved them at Terminus and stuff like that. Yeah, I think his role definitely could have, you know, fit in with what Carol did, you know. But it's just a shame that they killed him off the way they did and stuff, you know. I mean, it's still cool, you know, we got Carol and stuff like that. She's an awesome character, but, you know, it is what it is. So anyways, there we go. There is the video. What if T-Dog survived? If T-Dog lived in The Walking Dead Season 11. So let me know what you guys think. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What do you think would have happened had T-Dog survived? Do you think it would have played out the way he said it in the video? Would you have liked to see that? Would you have liked T-Dog to live? Or do you think it was better that T-Dog, you know, died and Carol lived on? You know, let me know. So anyways, other than that, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links in the description box below, along with my Patreon. So if you want to go over there and, you know, subscribe to that and, you know, start watching some of the reaction videos and stuff, that'd be awesome. And, yeah, like I said, I'm still getting more information and pictures from Dead City Season 2 and stuff like that, trying to get whatever filming stuff I can. So hopefully I can do a video on that pretty soon. So other than that, yeah, just stick around. More videos are on the way, and I will see you guys next time.